Good evening, welcome back to Near Post Flick On. So, West London Derby today at Craven Cottage. Unfortunately for Fulham, they've lost that derby to Chelsea. Chelsea have done an absolute smash and grab. They've won the game 2-1. Goals from Tariq George and Neto in the 93rd minute has sealed it for Chelsea. Chelsea are chasing that top four finish, and it's very, very close at the top. There are some strong teams there. You still got Villa that are still in the mix. Nottingham Forest is still in the mix. Man City are in the mix, and Newcastle in the mix as well. So Chelsea needed that win today, and I tell you what, if they had lost today's game or even drawn today's game, you'd probably have to ask questions as to whether they're strong enough to make that top four finish. But fortunately for the Blues, fortunately for Chelsea fans, they've managed to turn things around, and they've gotten that all important victory against Fulham in a very tough West London derby. I mean, Chelsea are used to competing for the top honours. They're used to competing for Premier League titles. They're used to competing for Champions League. But, at the moment, they're probably not at their best. So I found it interesting that their manager, Maresca, he's gone on to say that he believes Chelsea have had a good season. I mean, by definition, what is a good season for a team, as I say, that's always competed in the top for the top honours? At the moment, Chelsea are currently fifth in the league, and this is a team that normally competes for the actual title, not necessarily, not competing in the drag race for top four, but Chelsea are a team that competes for the title itself. So they've gone from that to now struggling to qualify for a Champions League position, and they're currently in the semi-finals of the Conference League in Europe. So, does that constitute um, a successful season for a club like Chelsea, as big as Chelsea are? Does that constitute a successful season? I don't really think so. So I think Maresca is probably just saying that to take some pressure off his back and the team's back, to be honest. But a club like Chelsea should be doing a lot better than what they're currently doing. So for me, Chelsea are way too big to call finishing fourth or finishing fifth and being in the semi-finals of a Conference League a successful season, or they've had a good season, quote and unquote. They've had a good season. I don't think Chelsea had a good season. Yes, it's always good to have trophies in the cabinet. Of course, it is. It's always good to have trophies in the cabinet. But when your fans are used to a level of success and you've set a certain standard, you'd expect the team to kind of meet that standard. So maybe you could argue that Chelsea are a team in transition, and they're kind of transitioning to their next phase, having had new ownership, etc., etc. And this is now the post Abramovich era. So, but then you look at their budget sheet and you look at their bank statements and you think to yourself, no, actually, you guys have spent a lot of money. So it may not be a case of funding. It may just be a case of maybe players not performing as well, And you look at the Chelsea side as well. They don't. It's not a team that you look at and you say, "Oh wow, they've got so many superstars in this team, or so many game winners in this team, or match winners, if you like, in this team." So my question is, what has happened to their marquee signing, to their star player, Cole Palmer? Now I like Cole Palmer, so I don't really want to criticize him because I think he's an absolute talent and definitely deserved all the accolades he had in his first season. So I'm not quite sure, but we all know once he's on song and when he's performing, it kind of rubs off on the rest of the team, and they kind of need that from Palmer. They need that good performance from him. So I just find it a bit strange that he's just falling off all of a sudden. I mean, last year we were saying he was probably the best English player in the country. So now we're like, okay, he doesn't even get a mention in the game. You barely hear his name in the game, So I just find it a bit strange that he's falling off. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's just had one of those off seasons and he'll be back to his very best because the man is talented. I can't even get my words out. Bloody hell. Yeah, the man's talented. He is definitely talented. He's a talented footballer, and he's got a lot of I think he's got a lot of skills. He's got a lot of skills, and he's definitely got a lot of potential to be one of the very best in the world, and not just the Premier League. But it's just a matter of consistency. So he's got to be more consistent. He's got to show up for every game. You can't even say, "Oh yeah, he's got to show up for the big games." He's not showing up for any game at the moment. I mean, you look at his stat from last year. So last year, at this stage, let's say he's played 33 games last year. He scored 22 goals at the same stage last year, and he had 11 assists last year. So those are some impressive numbers. This season, he's played 32 matches. He scored 14 goals and he's had 8 assists. So on paper, you'd say, oh, well, it's not too dissimilar. However, a lot of those goals, I'm pretty sure this season have come from penalties. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of those goals have come from penalties. And as I say, to be fair, you would expect him to have stepped up another gear again. But yeah, I just find it strange that he's not really performing to his standards or to the standards that we know he can perform to. And I'd probably say the same for Phil Foden as well. He's not performing to the standards that we expect them to. So hopefully it's just a blip and Cole Palmer comes back and hopefully drags Chelsea back into contention next season. But whether that happens or not, we don't know. I mean, we've all heard about Van Dijk signing that contract and Mo Salah signing that contract. So Liverpool are going to be the team to beat again, maybe for the next 3 seasons, or for the next 2 seasons, certainly. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But yeah, going back to Maresca saying, Chelsea have had a good season. I don't think Chelsea have had a good season. I think this has been a subpar season for a team like Chelsea. But having said that, they've gotten the 3 points in a London derby game, which is always tough. It's always tough. London derbies aren't easy and this is a West London derby as well. So it's even closer to home. And they've managed to do that away from home. 3 points, and that's like literally almost final whistle stuff. So they did a smash and grab. They've done what they needed to do. Will they qualify for the top 4? We're just gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see how they get on.